2 podcasts on one day? I'm supposed to be on vacation. What is this?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Better Than Never.
Shit.
I'm not actually inside a women's prison at the moment.
The horniest just went up to like 11.
All right, we're changing this down. I don't want to be doing this. The St. Louis Blues have forced my hand. Sitting here, trying to get planned out. If you listen to the emergency podcast, you know I'm on vacation right now. I woke up this morning. I was enjoying some photos from the McWedding photo dump by the folks at Vogue. Then I saw the offer sheet news come down, recorded the emergency podcast, went about my life, took my dog for a walk, had myself a coffee. Then I started watching Tyler and Liam talk about it. And then I started seeing voicemails pouring in. And then I checked in what was in the voicemail bank originally. I was like, well, maybe I'll just do big voicemail message episode next week. And I said, well, why would I do that? I'm just procrastinating on packing right now anyway. I'm only gone for the 5 days. So I don't need to pack that much. I'm a seasoned veteran after the playoff travel I've done. So here I am. Here I am, satisfying my contractual needs to the audio department, oodlenoodle.ca. You know, fine companies. The audio department, they help me make the sound better. Oodle Noodle, they feed me. Get it? Good. If you haven't listened to the emergency episode, I am officially, well, technically on vacation, though here I am working. I see there's a lot of voicemails come in. And, of course, as it always happens, when I'm in a rush or I don't want to do something, I've got a voicemail dump that just came all out of order and unorganized. So we'll see how the voicemail goes today. Everything's a sham. Everything's a sham. What is going on? Here we were the other day. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, there hasn't been any Oilers news at all. Been some Draisaitl contract speculation and talk and hope and wishes and dreams. And then all of a sudden, we wake up and we see what happened today.
Listen, you know in your mind you didn't really want to be on vacation anyway. What if people will forget about bag milk in the week that you're gone? That's what went through your little pea brain. You could admit it.
Why do you got to call me out on my internal struggles like that?
Because the people need to know. They need to know you're keeping an eye on it. What if people forget about bag milk? What if nobody listens to the podcast that's really dumb that you record every week on Wednesday, even though it's Tuesday?
Well, away she goes, I suppose. So what I've been doing, I was up in Grand Prairie. Went and saw some family this past weekend. It wasn't actually in Grand Prairie. It was a small town on the peripheries, you see. So I was in the northern Alberta region, I will say. Saw some family. It was great to see them. Saw some family that listens to this podcast. Hello, if you're listening. It was just, it was good to see everybody. It was unfortunate news why I went up there. It was a funeral for my auntie, unfortunately. Lovely, lovely woman. I'll miss her very, very much. Fuck cancer forever. But the good part, if you want to find a silver lining in any of those situations, is getting to hang out with some people that you appreciate, that you don't necessarily see all the time. And the unfortunate reality of being adult is that a lot of times it takes something not great to get everyone together, and that was definitely the case this weekend. I also spent some time helping my mom move into her new place. My mom moved back home from BC, so I was being a good son and I was setting things up. And I took my mommy for dinner. What do you think about that?
Oh, do you want an applause, maybe a parade for just being a normal human being? Way to go. You've done the very last, the very minimum you need in this situation. Congratulations on being a human being and a son. Technically, not literally.
Anyway, it was good. I am built for comfort, not for labor. I'll tell you that much. I'm feeling very, very sore today after moving a bunch of furniture, a bunch of boxes, doing all those things. You know how it goes. You've moved. It sucks. It sucks. And that's kind of the recap so far. But tomorrow I fly to Toronto, Blink-182 on Thursday, hanging out in the city. No Jays, though. Although the Jays are terrible this year, so I'm not exactly sad that I'm missing the Jays. Going to go out to Niagara Falls for a night or two. Depends. We'll see how it goes. I like having a set schedule that's fluid, if that makes sense, when I'm on vacation. I like having ideas of things to do, but not necessarily a set schedule by which to do it. Sometimes I hear about things like, oh, you should go on a Kentucky tour. You love traveling around and you can bop around to a bunch of countries in a matter of weeks and they plan it all for you. And I like that to an extent. But you can't cage this bird, you know? Sometimes I just want to fly free, spread my wings and go. Or not go and just sit and do nothing. That's what I was hoping to do today. There's a lot of nothing, but here I am anyway. So, that in mind, might as well get to the news. The news is brought to you by Star Mechanical. Star Mechanical is one of Edmonton's biggest locally owned and operated plumbing and heating businesses. They've been working within the community for over 20 years. Many of the homes built in Edmonton over the last 2 decades have had their plumbing and heating systems installed by Star Mechanical. You need to get them out to your house. StarMechanical.ca. You can book something there with their team of tradespeople and experts. The news, there's not a whole lot going on, so I'm going to start off with the good news. I want to start off with good news because the other news just, well, depends how you look at it, I suppose. The good news was, after waiting, whatever it was, weeks, finally got to have a look at Connor McDavid's wedding photos over in Vogue. Of course, they look great. Lauren Kyle, bunch of dresses. Connor looked sharp, nice bow tie, nice tux. Everything was looking fresh. The scene was nice. The setting was beautiful. All the things you would expect. All of it. Except you know what my problem is with rich people weddings when they sell their photos to Vogue like the McDavid and Lauren Kyle wedding did? Again, this is always up to them, right? Make some cash from your wedding, get some photos taken, fine. Put those out in a magazine. It all looks beautiful. The problem I have with these weddings, I want to know who rated the cheese plate at 1 a.m., the platter. I want to know what the meal was at midnight. I want to know which current or former Oilers had their tie around the head. We got to see one photo, Vander Kane was there. Another photo, Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid were holding Lauren Kyle up above their head, and she had a very expensive bottle of tequila in her hand. Love to see that stuff. I just wish we got to see more of it. I wish we got to see more of what happened at the party. Yeah, the setting's nice and the dresses are great, but do you remember that stuff about the weddings you've gone to? Do you remember what the place settings looked like? The dresses, the colors? Of course you don't. You remember the party. You remember the people that were there. You remember some of the speeches that made you laugh or cry or whatever. That's what I wanted to see. I knew I wasn't going to get it, but I was always hopeful. I was always hopeful. So, shout out to the McDavids. It's the royal wedding we all wanted for. The only person missing, Stanley Cup. Though, now I'm confused because the day before the wedding, we saw that photo of Warren Fogle, now at Los Angeles King, golfing with Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg. Well, today, first thing this morning, we see that both of those guys signed offer sheets with the St. Louis Blues. Not just one, but two, friends. Two. Philip Broberg's 2-year contract worth an annual average value of $4.58 million, where Dylan Holloway's 2-year contract, $2.29 million. If the Oilers assign both of those contracts, they just say, you know what? Kick rock, St. Louis, we're going to match. That would put them $7.2 million over the cap with 23 active players. It doesn't take a rocket surgeon to figure out that math, no math. Now, just because you're allowed to be 10% over the salary cap in the offseason doesn't mean that that's a good thing to be. That doesn't mean it's a good spot to be in. So the Oilers could just accept both of these. They've got 7 days to make the decision. We've got over a pile of that earlier in the emergency podcast, so we don't need to go over it again. But they could just match within the next week and try and figure it out later. Over at Puckpedia, if you assume that they sign both, they just accept both offers and they go, kick rock, St. Louis. Thanks for the cap hit, but we're keeping our boys. That would put them $7.2 million over the salary cap with 23 active players. They could potentially put Evander Kane on the LTIR at $5.125 million. If they do those things, they could match the offer sheet and could be cap compliant by sending 3 minor contracts on waivers down to the Condors and starting the season with Kane on the LTIR. You don't, from what I understand, and again, somebody's going to correct me on this, and please do, because I don't think I'm right, and I know I'm not. I think the ideal scenario would be to be having Kane not start on LTIR until the season actually starts. But again, I don't really understand how this works. I need Puckpedia to teach me. One thing that they tweeted that was interesting, and I wondered when these conversations started, was agents were permitted to talk to teams about potential offer sheets starting on June 30th at 7:01 p.m. So when did those guys' agents, do they have the same agents? Do they have them? I don't know. But to make this work, let me see here. Holloway is rep by Blake Robson. And Broberg is rep by Darren Ferris. There's fuckery. There's teamwork and shenanigans. To make this work, the St. Louis Blues had to make a deal, which they did with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So the Blues got back their original second-round pick in 2025, and they got a fifth-round pick in 2026. They had to send Pittsburgh a second-round pick in 2026 and a third-round pick in 2025. So that was Ottawa's pick. So that's how they made the picks work. So it seems like the Blues are expecting the Oilers to walk away from this. I, this morning, said I think they sign Broberg I think they sign Holloway and let Broberg walk. Now that I'm 2-3 hours later, I don't know if I still feel the same way. I don't know if I feel the same way. I'm just confused. My first thought was Broberg walking, Holloway staying. Bruce Kurlock, who I trust when it comes to prospects and evaluation, he would sign Holloway and let Broberg walk. Not because he doesn't like Broberg as a player, just that cap space is incredibly valuable. And if you think about it, 9 months ago, a lot of Oilers fans probably would have taken a second-round pick for Broberg after he requested the trade. Another angle here is that those guys, they don't just get given an offer sheet, right? They have to accept the offer sheet. They have to sign it. So both of those players have decided to jump ship for more money. They don't want the chance to win. No offense to St. Louis, you're not winning the Stanley Cup. Well, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, it's interesting, right? It's interesting. It also makes a little bit more sense. Yesterday, Bob Stauffer tweeted, hearing that there's a very good chance the Edmonton Oilers' Evander Kane will not be ready to start the season, that he may require surgery and is likely to be on the LTIR to start the year. Ryan Rishaug doubled down on that sentiment this morning and said there's multiple issues going on with Kane. They're still in the evaluation period. So how can you keep both? Well, Kane on the LTIR, trade Cody Ceci, done, job done. Are they going to do that? I have no idea. It's going to be interesting. They got 7 days. They've got 7 days, and we're going to see what happens. What's interesting to me is that offer sheets are supposed to be this taboo thing, and GMs don't do it because there's like some kind of code. I thought there was a code for this, but there's not, apparently. Not when it comes to the Oilers. And to make matters worse, you got to watch other fan bases try and dance on our graves. Just because these don't happen all the time. I wish these happen more often, and I hope all of you, including the St. Louis Blues and Jake Neighbors next season, are in line for more of these. It's wild to see an offer sheet in the first place. It's even wilder to see two players from one team with the same kind of thing. Holy shit. It brings out the other question, though. Why did the Oilers wait to sign them? If you can be 10% over the salary cap, why weren't these guys already signed? Or was it contentious? I don't know. I don't know how that works. I'm not smart enough to know. What I am smart enough to do is jump on here and react. And my reaction right now is, boo, St. Louis, boo. I should be sitting outside with a beer right now. And I'm doing this. Garbage. It's garbage. And essentially, that's all we got for the news. There were some athletic polls that came out I was going to talk about, but I don't really care. Oilers fans kind of trust their management, don't really. It was like 20th overall of 32, something like that. Who cares? StarMechanical.ca. Help them help you keep your home running smoothly.
So, you like this podcast? Better late than never with Bad Milk. Why don't you go to your favorite podcast app? Like, subscribe, leave a review. You sexy human.
Time to talk a little betting. Bets of the Week segment brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of Better Late Than Never. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Use the promo code OILY bonus. That promo code is OILY bonus. We like futures on this podcast, don't we? We like to look ahead. We like to imagine what's going to happen. We like to imagine all the possibilities. We like to imagine everything that you could do with a well-placed bet. Well, what we don't spend a lot of time on is looking at the AHL. And I thought it was interesting because I was just looking at hockey futures, and then up came the AHL outright winner. So I'm like, I'm curious to see where our beloved Bakersfield Condors would rest within this list. And the answer is not well. If you go strictly by AHL futures to win outright, to win the Calder Cup, the Bakersfield Condors are not very high on the list. The Hershey Bears are favored at plus 500. The Firebirds at plus 600. The Milwaukee Admirals at plus 800. Providence Bruins plus 1,000. The Ontario Reign plus 1,000. The Tucson Roadrunners plus 1,000. The Cleveland Monsters plus 1,400. And you go, holy cow, I'm already through 7 teams. Where are the Bakersfield Condors? Well, let me tell you. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17th at plus 2,800, the Bakersfield Condors. Listen, plus 2,800, you go, maybe a little sprinkle on that. Who knows what could happen? It is pro sports in the AHL after all. The Condors are not that far from winning it all. Of course, they've had some players graduate from them. They've had some players leave. They've had a coaching change. Plus 2,800. Not that great. But again, I don't really watch the AHL, so why would I bet on that? I don't know either. I was also looking at some F1 bets, considering there have been some new winners this year. Looking at the Dutch Grand Prix, Lando Norris is the favored winner, which is wild to see after just domination from Max Verstappen earlier in the season. Lando Norris, the favored to win at plus 175. Max Verstappen is at plus 187. Oscar Piastri at plus 550. However, Max Verstappen still favored to win the F1 Drivers' Championship for 2024. He is minus 450. Hard not to bet on him as the favorite at this point in the season, given that he got a running start through the first, 8 weeks? Something like that. 8 races. Lando Norris, second place at plus 300. Oscar Piastri at plus 10,000. If you believe Kevin from The Office, anytime you get a chance to bet on plus 10,000, you take it. You take it. Don't take it. It's not good. Don't take it. So anyway, I was looking at some of the futures, just popping around. Again, whatever the market, or whatever the bet, whatever the market. Bet365's got you. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365, use the promo code OILY bonus.
I took her home from an Oilers game. I grabbed a beer and she asked for the same. I head back to the fridge for an IPA, but all I had was milk that's bagged. And that's about the time she walked away from me. Nobody likes it when you're out of cocaine. Or pull the RV with an Oilers sweater. Your rent truck isn't budging, host. I guess I'll just sit here and check out better than. There's nothing better late than never.
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
For Trilogy Oilfield Rentals, it's time for the righteous sack beating. Of course, Trilogy Oilfield Rentals are an established provider of tools and expertise across multiple oilfield disciplines, specializing in rentals, pipe recovery, abandonments, and completions. Currently, they maintain full-time operating units in Provost, Weyburn, and Kindersley. What kind of tools do they got? Well, let me tell you. Rental tools, fishing tools, coil tools, drilling tools, mills and bits, completion tools, any tool for any job. TrilogyRentals.ca. I'm on vacation, so I don't really have a whole lot to complain about outside of the St. Louis Blues. Outside of the fact that Peter Chiarelli is trying to fuck me from another organization. He's trying to do it to us all. He did it while he was here. Now he's doing it from afar. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Ban Pete Chiarelli from dealing with the Oilers in any way. He's a double agent for somebody. I know it. I just can't prove it yet, but I know it. We let the wolf inside the hen house, or the fox inside the hen house. I don't remember what it is. The killer is inside the house. He's still in there somehow. And I don't know what. I don't know how. However, I'm on vacation, so I don't really have a whole lot bothering me right now, but you do. So I got an anonymous righteous sack beating, so I will play that now in honor of our friends at Trilogy Oilfield Rentals.
All right, you deciduous motherfuckers. I have an RSB that's like somewhat inspired by your RSB from last week that I've just endured. Picking up your dog shit when they, out on the stroll. First of all, cunts that don't pick up their dog shit can go and get absolutely fucked, and when they get there, they can fuck off again.
Agreed. Like, it's so annoying. First of all, dogs are disgusting. Sometimes they will eat other dogs' shit. Thankfully, my dude has grown out of that. But there was a time when that was something I had to deal with when we were still teaching to leave it. Now, be a responsible dog owner or don't get a dog. Seems pretty simple, no?
It's just shit behavior. No pun intended. Hello. But pick your game up. Again, no pun intended. But pick up your dog's shit when they shit in public. I don't care if you leave it in your fucking yard.
Fair.
Anyway, that's not the main gripe of this RSB. That's just a secondary bonus gripe because, I'm always bringing more. My gripe actually goes to my best mate, Gretzky, this motherfucker, this 8-year-old fucking dog laying underneath the desk where I'm sitting right now because he's always by my side. Every time he does a shit in the, during our constitutional, he knows I then have to, pick it up and put it in the bag, whatever. He waits until I'm like half, mid-collection and he'll like pull on the lead. And then you look at it and he's got this fucking massive grin on his face and he does it on purpose. Every fucking day. It's hilarious, but I hate it, but I love it.
There you go. Dogs, man. Dogs. We got a part 2 from you, Dukes. Is this you again, or is this another random RSB? It would be weird for him to call it part 2 if it wasn't Dukes again.
So, fucking bonus RSB for, I don't know, whatever. Aimed at you, Bag Milk.
What?
You're promoting the A&W Burger, charity day thing, which is fucking excellent. Everyone go and buy some fucking burgers and raise money for a really good cause. But you're setting your over-under at 6.5 burgers.
That's right.
When you live in a country where weed is legal. Motherfucker, I think every cunt should be waking up at 5:22 a.m.
Yep.
Blazing saddles like a motherfucker and then eating 9 burgers in that day.
Do it for charity.
Burger and whatever. So, I don't know, man. Props to you for, promoting a charity, but also, come on. I know you can't see me, but I'm doing that little hand gesture that says, yeah, come on. Anyway, yeah. Just a thought.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong, Dukes. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Weed is legal in Canada. You just think we should all just blaze all day and just pound back cheeseburgers? What else are we going to do that day? Probably not a whole lot. Maybe nap. Should set up some cots at HQ, maybe. Something to think about. Although Mainlander Tim has offered an interesting kind of angle on this that I'm going to present to the boys. So we shall see, fair Dukes. We shall see. 6.5, though, I feel like is a reasonable line. Don't you? I mean, we have a life to live. Can't eat cheeseburgers all day, or can I? Can I? Maybe.
You want want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man. Kick me in the jimmy.
Gosh, Maxie, we're listening to Better Late Than Never.
The voicemail brought to you by A&W Burgers for MS. Burgers to Beat MS Day is back, celebrating its 16th year on Thursday, August 22nd. For every teen burger sold on Burgers to Beat MS Day, $2 will be donated to Multiple Sclerosis Canada. In the lead up to August 22nd, you support Burgers to Beat MS by rounding up your bill with any purchase at your local A&W, donating online at burgers-to-beatms.ca or through the A&W app, or by adding a donation option to your cart when ordering A&W on delivery apps like Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Skip the Dishes. A&W's rallying communities to unite for the cause and raise awareness for MS in Canada. On August 22nd, Canadians can show their support and help envision a world free of MS by visiting a local A&W restaurant and purchasing a delicious teen burger directly and positively benefit groundbreaking research and support of individuals living with and affected by multiple sclerosis. Unfortunately, I had a auntie that dealt with MS earlier in my life, and it's not a pleasant disease, to say the least. Could go on for a while, but it's awful. It was awful to watch it happen, and I will be eating cheeseburgers on August 22nd, Dukes. I just don't know how many. I'm leaving my line at 6.5. I'm leaving my line at 6.5. That is a lot of work to do, while also trying to maintain some semblance of a productive day. If I take the day off, which is possible, I could table that. Maybe I'll crush more burgers. Maybe the work I'm doing today, I will take off in lieu on August 22nd. Thoughts? All right. So here we go. I got 20 some odd voicemails here. I'm going to get through them, but if you bore me, I'm just going to skip you. I'm not supposed to be working today. So that's the punishment. If you bore me, I'm just skipping you. Got it? Anonymous caller, who be you?
Bag Milk, what's going on? I wanted to leave this last week, but I must mention that on my way to Nation HQ, you already know where this is going. 3 magpies on the road. It's just so damn sad. What's going on? Huh? It's only magpies usually. Well, sometimes you see the odd raven, which is also a shame. Raven lives matter. Magpies lives matter.
Waz.
Yeah. It's not fun to see.
Stop killing birds, Waz. Stop it. I don't want to hold you responsible, but I will. I will, Waz.
Hiya, Quads. It's Mini Ben here. How are you doing, pal? How do I do this? How's it going, Quads?
Who is this?
I'm doing okay. Wait.
I didn't ask you.
No, that sounds weird.
You're
How's
mocking me.
Quads? What are they talking about this episode?
You don't have a voice filter, Ben. You can't be Mini Quads. You're just doing your own voice slightly higher. Doesn't even sound anything like Quads. Not one thing like Quads. Away with you, Mini Ben. Away with you.
Hey, Quads. Oh, I mean, Dukes or Dicks.
Ben, I can't hear you, buddy. That one, you sound like the microphone is in your mouth. This is kind of what it sounds like to me. So we're skipping you. Moving on.
Okay, I understand. You might not want to cheer for the Dolphins, BM. If you cheer for the Bears, or if it's like a really crappy team, I'll make them my second team, and we can cheer them on together.
Oh, that's nice.
I will gladly do it for the Bears because I love that Caleb Williams. I think it is. I love that guy. But yeah, I'll cheer on with you.
Well,
as my second team.
There you go.
But yeah.
There you go. Ben is trying to team up with me on fandom. Bailing on his Dolphins. Bailing on the Dolphins. Not quite. His second team. I'm always fascinated by people who can have second favorite teams. I cannot. Like in the NHL as an example. For me, it's like the Oilers. I have teams I'll tolerate, but I won't cheer for anyone else. That's the way I roll. And I don't apologize for it. Who be you, anonymous caller?
Bag Milk. If you are
Hello, Waz.
considering getting into Game of Thrones, I highly recommend it. It's a phenomenal show. As someone who used to be a fanatic of the series, like I loved it. I was obsessed with Game of
Did I talk about Game of Thrones? I don't remember what I talk about. I definitely haven't seen it. We were probably talking about TV, I guess. There's a lot of shows I haven't seen. It's not that I have any qualms with Game of Thrones, Waz. It's just who has the time? There's so many good dating shows to watch. Love Island is fantastic. They're all assholes. They're just the worst kind of people, you know? Just the worst kind of people. And they're real-ish. Real-ish. Slightly scripted, whatever.
Thrones for a good chunk when it was relevant. I mean,
I also don't like wizards. Dragons and shit. They're not really my jam. Never been my jam. Magic. Not really my thing.
Dragon is all right, but it's not as good as the original series, I would say. The first 4 seasons are incredible television. I would say it has like a bit of a slow start to it, but once you get deep into it, oh my God, it's like you're on the edge of your seat. Incredible battles. It is a little weird, you know, it's got incest, all that fun stuff. But yeah, House of the Dragon, it's all right. It's not as good as the original series, in my opinion, but the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones, incredible quality TV. Seasons 5 to 8, I would say that's up to your interpretation of what you enjoy. Most people don't like seasons 7 and 8. 5 and 6 are okay, but the first 4, incredible, impeccable. That's all I'll say.
Well, Waz making a pitch for a show that everybody loved. You're the best, Waz. I always appreciate you. I'll watch it one day. Maybe we can watch it together, Waz. Maybe we can watch it together. Who be you?
Big Milk.
Hello.
I'm listening to the Real Life podcast. Sounds like the next nation vacation is a trip to Denver to see the Broncos.
We're thinking about it. We are thinking about it. There's a Oilers Avalanche game that falls right into a Broncos Browns game. And since Jay is a big Browns guy, his interest is piqued, to say the least.
And the Oilers. More importantly, the Oilers, but the Broncos. There you go. That's all the more reason to become a Broncos fan.
Is it, though?
You're going to go see them play. You know how jealous I am of you? You know how jealous... I'm already jealous because you have a hot girlfriend. Now I'm jealous because you're going to go see my second favorite team play.
Well, that doesn't mean anything to me, though, Nick. Like last year, I saw the Seattle Seahawks take on the Washington Commanders. And I didn't give a fuck about either of those teams. Washington Commanders, quite frankly, that's a terrible team name. They should have just left it as Washington FC. I would have probably appreciated them more. But they're terrible. So, just because I will go watch those teams play doesn't mean I'll care, Nick.
So, if not for anything, be a Broncos fan for me, Big Milk.
I don't want to.
I know you were shit talking our merch. I understand some of the merch is kind of shit. It looks like it was made for 55-year-old men. I get it.
It was made for 55-year-old men.
I think there's some nice merch out there.
Not my favorite.
The Orange Crush throwback jerseys are the best in the league. Also, you're shit talking, saying the Broncos, they're going to be terrible. They might be too bad for me to cheer for. The Broncos were 8-9 last year. We were almost close to making the playoffs. Sure, we'll be worse this year, but I can't imagine we're going to be that bad.
Well, listen, mediocre. You either be real bad or real good. Mediocre, he doesn't get you anywhere. You'll end up as the Las Vegas Raiders. Although the Vegas Raiders are still they are still on the table. The location, the merch, there's a lot to like there. The fact that they're bad, seemingly endlessly bad. I guess they're in the same kind of pocket as the Broncos. I don't know. Like they just have. Let me compare those two, Nick. If I remember correctly off the top of my head, both teams finished 8-9 last year. The intangibles for a team like Vegas, much better than the Broncos. Vegas, cool. Denver, I'll find out. Merch, good. Denver, bad. Vegas. Denver, not Vegas. Something to consider, you know? Moving along. Anonymous caller, who be you?
Big Milk.
Why? Someone I think I've solved these issues all the time. Goodness gracious.
Okay, Big Milk. And while we're on the subject of the NFL and the Denver Broncos and why the Denver Broncos are so good and you should be cheering for them, fantasy football. Obviously, it is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be, with you getting into the NFL and you picking a horse, are you going to get into fantasy football? I know it can be a bit intense, but it is so fun, man. I highly recommend playing fantasy football. I know Oilers Nation, last year they did a fantasy football league at the office. If I were you, man, I'd get in on that. It's a social thing. It's fun, breeds competition. It's great. And I got a few good names for you. Number one, Sutton My Face is like sit on my face, but Cortland Sutton. The Mile High Club, Denver Broncos, play at Mile High.
Mm-hmm.
Caught Bowles deep. Garrett Bowles is the Broncos left tackle. Good. I got a lot of sex puns for NFL names. But yeah, are you considering playing fantasy football? Like, yeah, give me the lowdown on it. I really want to hear what you're thinking.
I will if they do at the office. If they do another office pool, I'll definitely play fantasy with the squad for sure. Seemed like it was fun. I like the idea of yelling at everybody. I like the idea of making trades, wheeling and dealing. So yeah, would I need help with the team name? Probably. Or I'll just come up with something really, really ridiculous like I tend to do. You know? It's generally where my names tend to go when I'm playing fantasy. Or I'll just stick with Bag Milk Fantasy Emperor or something like that. Normally what I used to do when I was doing nation drafts for OilersNation.com. Next up, who be you?
All right, a couple points to attend to.
Here we go,
you
Chad.
asked what I'm doing in the garage. That all the time. It's guitars, man. It's what I'm working. I wish I knew how to work on cars. One day I will. You know what I want to do? I wasn't even planning on bringing this up. Once I have some disposable income and once I can drop my day job, I'm going to get some form of like blacksmithing, smelting stuff. I've been watching videos on YouTube of people making Damascus knives. And
You've been watching Forged in Fire, haven't you? Your blade will kill. It will kill.
Blades and swords and shit. It looks so fun.
I used to watch Forged in Fire like when the pandemic first kicked off, which is amazing. It's almost 5 years ago now. We're in August, mid-August. It's almost 5 years ago, the pandemic. I watched so much Forged in Fire. Like they just had a marathoning and I would just sit there and watch it. Damascus, all that stuff. How they make their handles, what kind of swords, what kind of knives. Awesome. It will kill.
Just smashing the metal. They get these automated machines. You don't have to do it all by hand. Just smashes it all out. That looks fun as shit. I'm going to be a bladesmith one day. Mark my words.
I'd cheer you on.
Oh, it took up too much time. Yeah, you guys brought up on Real Life about somebody chucked a loony in the piss bin at
yes.
Bulk Fest or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interesting idea. Like, what is the least amount of money that you'd bend down and pick up? For me, I think it's $1 now. What am I going to do with a quarter? I never pay with cash. Like, okay, I grab a quarter, now I've got a quarter. What the fuck am I going to do with it? I don't know. I think it's got to be $1 for me.
Are we talking about like out of a piss jug like we were talking about on Real Life? Because in case you missed it or you don't listen to Real Life, they were talking about a Folk Fest story of how there's essentially a pee trough that you got to deal with on the men's side. And somebody threw a loony into it that plugged the hole. I don't remember. How much would it take me to get out of pull money out of there? It's got to be like, we got to talk paper money or plastic money, whatever. I'm not doing it for coins. But just in general, just straight up in general, not piss talk, just on the ground. Let's say I'm walking my dude Frank and I see a shiny little nickel down on the ground. I'll pick it up. Put it in my trousers, toss it in my coin jar. Then I can bring it over to Safeway and put it in that fun machine, which I've now learned takes a rip. Either way, the machine's still fun.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
I spurred on myself here. On the topic of my eventual potential hobby, is there something that you've ever looked at like, hey, I think I could do that, or like, oh, I want to learn how to do that? Like I've always been the kind of person that's had a hobby. Like growing up, first one was skateboarder, want to be a pro skateboarder. Then it was guitar player. Then for like 10 years, I was into music production, like on the computer, really heavy into that. And now it's building guitars. So is there anything that if you had, spare time, spare money, not like gazillions of dollars, but like you were comfortable and you felt like you could take up a couple $1,000 investment in a craft of some sort, what would it be? Or is there anything? I know some people are just like, yeah, I come home from work and watch TV, and that's kind of like my ambitions. Like, I don't understand that. I've always wanted to do something. You seem like an ambitious guy. What would you do? Do you have something? I think I've asked it 3 times now. Let me know.
I wasn't really paying attention, if I'm being honest. I was just reading a text message, so I got to go back to the question. Move this along.
I've always been the kind of person for like 10 years I was into. So is there anything that if you had, spare time, spare money, not like gazillions of dollars, but like you were comfortable and you felt like you could take up a couple $1,000 investment in a craft of some sort?
Okay, I'm with you. Let me think. If I just had like money wasn't an object, or I had enough money to make the investment and just kind of do what I wanted to do all the time, I'd love to do something. Like, I really like your hobby of making guitars. I mean, I don't want to copy it, but like something to do with music. Like, I've got instruments laying around my house. I love the idea of being able to master instruments, or at least get proficient at instruments. Because here's the way I look at it. I pick up my guitar that's sitting to my left right now. Could I play out chord progression that you play out for me, or write out for me, or ask for? Yes, I can. Could I rip a solo over that chord progression to make me look like a fucking Viking warlord god on the guitar? No, I can't. So I guess if I had unlimited time and just the money to do it, I would probably want to like master some of the instruments, or at least get proficient in some of the instruments I have in my house. My piano, I don't play it nearly enough. My guitars, I don't play it nearly enough. I've got some random little like other stringed instruments. Like I've got a ukulele, I've got a mandolin. I'd love to play with those. I would love to. I'd love to draw, like have an art kind of station set up in my house, and I could do that in my office, I suppose. But like just sit and draw and paint all day. Like I think of a guy like Jim Carrey, right? He's got all the money in the world. He's got more money than he'll ever need in 1,000 lifetimes. So what has he done? He's basically retired himself to sit in a house and paint all day. And what does he paint those paintings for? Sure, he probably sells some, or he does sell some for charity or whatever from time to time. But for the most part, he's doing it just because he enjoys the activity. That's what I would do if I was able. I would also probably, but if you wanted to do something that was like a job kind of, I would probably get more into investing in stock trading. I love the stock market. I love reading about it. I love reading about money. I like the way money compounds. I like the way you can make it work for you. I like getting paid dividends out on a monthly and quarterly basis. I love all that stuff. So getting really into that world would be something I'd be interested in. You can't just do it half-assed, right? You can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That's not the way it works. Next up.
Hey, BM.
Hello.
So I've been listening to Real Life, and I hate to call you out on something, but I've heard you say this multiple times. You were talking about Ty Conklin and how much we hate Ty Conklin.
That's right.
And the last Real Life with Steve Ellis, you said Game 2 specifically, and I hate to point this out, but
I meant Game 1.
Ty Conklin did not touch the ice after Game 1.
Yeah, so it would have been Game 1.
UC Markkinen played Game 2. And even after we lost 5-0, Markkinen never got pulled because McDavid said, fuck you, Ty Conklin. You will never see the ice as an Oiler again. So, yeah, I've heard you say multiple times about Ty Conklin playing in Game 2, but yeah, it wasn't him.
I meant Game 1. Because there was, he went in for Rolison. The play I'm thinking about specifically is when he came out behind the net and fumble fucked it and they scored. The Carolina Hurricanes scored. I think it was either the insurance goal or the go-ahead goal. Again, that was 2006. Give me a break, man. Give me a break. It was game 1. If I said game 2, I didn't mean game 2. I meant game 1. There's Kyle the Embalmer correcting me. I get it.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
This is the donkey. And for some reason, I've got some Americans in my head. Have you heard this? I'm going to have to do Chewbacca. Etc.
There you go. Chewbacca. I can't do it. I'll try, but I can't.
Hey, BM, it's me again. Apparently, I woke up and chose violence because I've had nothing but time to catch up on my podcast because I was working this morning and had to drive very far away. So now I got to call you out for something else. I've had some time to think, and I think you did Waz dirty a little bit.
Why?
I'm blaming you slightly for his snack choices
How
and
dare you?
whatnot, because when I sponsored it, the goal that I gave was to get snacks that he would sneak into a movie theater. And I think if you would have said, you need to do this, go there, buy snacks that you'd sneak into a movie theater, bring them to the Nation office for everyone to consume, I think he would have got better snacks.
I don't.
I think you slightly set him up. I know
don't.
that he did it himself buying saltines, but I don't think he would have taken saltines into a theater. I think you guys would have got better snacks if you'd have given him the goal that I had set for him. So I'm going to say you're 97% to blame.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. When I said get snacks for the office, nowhere in my mind would saltines and a can of coconut milk be on my list of things to get. I would have, because here, Kyle the Embalmer, here's what I would put it. Things that you can sneak into a movie theater and things you could feed an office of 20/30 somethings with, very similar. I'm talking chips, I'm talking candy, I'm not talking a single bowl of pho. Remember, for the office, there was one bowl of pho. If you sneak one bowl of pho into the movie theater, you can't even enjoy it unless you're crumbling up the noodles. So no, I do not accept 97% of the blame. I will not, and I do not. No. Chewbacca's back.
Well, yeah, apparently that's the donkey. So I apologize for everything. Shut up, Americans. Anyway, yes. Yeah, just be good on this. Yeah, Chewbacca.
Chewbacca is back. Had more to say.
Hey, Bag Milk, Derek here. I was listening to the recent podcast, and Kyle the Embalmer was saying, in his opinion, it's selfish to host a wedding on one of the long weekends in the summer. And maybe it's that I don't have kids and like my summers are not horrendously busy, but I think it's selfish to hold a wedding on the long weekend. If it's your friend and if you're...
I like this, that Kyle's getting called out after he called me out. Catch up to that podcast clip, Kyle.
Invited, you should go. You should want to go. It's not like you have to celebrate their anniversary every single year like they do. Yeah, I just think it's if you're close enough with them to be invited, like, I don't know, get over yourself and go to the fucking wedding. Have a good time. They're your friends. They want you to be there. If it's like an acquaintance or like a coworker, sure, whatever. That being said, I did firmly dig my feet into the ground that having a wedding on New Year's is selfish. I had a friend that did that, and I really didn't like that because it's New Year's and I want to celebrate New Year's, which is an actual holiday the way I want to do it. Long weekends of the summer, not a holiday. But yeah, I don't know. That's where I kind of stand. It's like, I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal in the summer. New Year's, different story.
Well, there you have it. Depends how much you love your long weekends, I suppose. I will be attending Tyler's wedding on the long weekend and I will enjoy myself. That's all I'm going to say about it. That's all I have to say about it.
Hey, Bag Milk.
Hello.
I have a random question for Waz.
Okay.
What makes you kill a bird? Like, when you're walking down the street and you see a bird, do you just automatically think to kill it? Or is it like certain birds you kill, like the injured ones? Or do you just go around killing all the healthy birds and letting the weak ones live? Like, what makes you want to kill a bird? Like, I don't understand it. And what's your favorite bird to kill?
You really have turned this into a whole bit where Waz is now random people that don't even know him assumes he's out here killing birds. Nice job. I really love this bit you've set up, Bag Milk. A really, really nice bit indeed. Good for you.
Chewie's back again.
I really need to stop doing Chewbacca. Good afternoon. You're listening to Better Late Than Never with Chewbacca.
Sometimes it's kind of nice with my voicemail download. So essentially when I download the voicemails, it comes as like a zip file and they all get opened up from there. Like today, they're all out of order and there's no titles. So I don't know who's who and when they came in, but it's kind of nice in this sometimes because under normal circumstances, I probably would have got 3 donkey Chewbaccas in a row that I would have played. Now they're just kind of mixed into the pile. So that's kind of nice. That's kind of nice indeed.
Hey, Bag Milk.
Hello.
It's me again. You've been saying how you want to pick a new NFL team to cheer for.
I do.
And you've watched the Receiver Show.
Mm-hmm.
You should cheer for George Kittle and the 49ers. You could watch him pull up to every game in his WWE costumes and stuff and have the joy of watching us win. And the reason you keep saying no is because they're too good. But this year, at the end of this year, they have to re-sign everyone, and they're not going to have enough money to do so. So we're probably going to have to start a new rebuild or something, unless we can do a quick retool. So you should join us and watch this year will be good and hopefully win the Super Bowl, and then you can help us watch through the rebuild.
Well, interesting kind of look at it. George Kittle's great. Watching Receiver wrapped it up. He is one of the stars of that show. Same like Debo. Debo's awesome too. Like just the skill that guy's got, he's an absolute unit. So yeah, San Francisco would be on the list for sure. They're good. And that kind of goes against one of my rules. They're too good right now. They are technically Super Bowl contending team, and I don't know that I want to get there and then we go, Bag Milk, you jumped on the bandwagon to Super Bowl. I don't know. Do I want to put myself through that? But again, San Francisco, that's a flight away. Merch, cool. Players I like. They got players I like. There's things to like about the San Francisco 49ers. There are. I'd be lying if I said they weren't on the list.
Yo, what up, Big Milk?
What up?
Okay, I've made my decision for you.
Go ahead.
I understand with the Dolphins, and I think you might be right, so I'll stop pestering you about them. Probably gets annoying. But, now I'm gonna pester you about the Bears. Caleb Williams. I watched the preseason game. That was one of the greatest preseason games I've ever seen. That man is incredible.
Nice one. Nice push.
My bad. Burping is sometimes good. I'll tell you why I burped in the next voicemail. Don't worry, it's nothing weird. Well, I mean, it depends on your definition, but
This is weird.
I mean,
You're gonna leave a whole nother voicemail?
show, so it's not that bad.
Well, fair. Fair enough.
I'm gonna guess what happened in this podcast. Dukes has said some unholy things, perchance. Ooh, dang. I got myself lost. Oh, no, I'm not lost. False alarm, Bag Milk. We're all good. I'm walking home.
You be safe out there. He's walking home. He's lost. Could be anywhere. I heard the footsteps. It's got a nice rhythm to the pitter patter, if you will.
What up, BM?
Yo.
I'm walking on the side of the road right now, so it's probably gonna sound super, super loud. Try to do this as loud as possible. But my predictions on what's happened so far is it was a grandpa riding a moped. Way to go, buddy.
Mopeds are awesome. I want one.
Said some inappropriate stuff about Donkey Valley. Most of it totally deserved.
Didn't happen. Wrong.
Probably said something about penises again.
Nope.
Maybe Donkey Valley eating them at this point. I don't know. It's gone so far off the hook. Maybe eating beavers or something. Maybe Waz is in with something weird.
Well,
Damn, this is loud.
That's true.
I hope you can hear this. I'll voicemail you again after. Oh.
I'll voicemail you again after. All right. Well, I got another 12-second one. Let's see if Chewbacca made another appearance. Let's go. Yeah, there he is. There he is.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
I can predict the
Good
future.
afternoon. This is a donkey. Yes.
Uh-huh. Go ahead. Oh, that's it. It was the donkey. Good afternoon. Finally, let's wrap up the voicemail for A&W. Burgers to beat MS. I'm guessing this last one is Ben. Ben, what do you got to say, buddy?
Okay, Big Mug. This voicemail might be kind of redundant since we'll
we'll never know why Ben burped. We'll never know. It's out there. It's in the ether. We got Nick. Nick, I'll start you over. Go ahead.
Okay, Big Mug. This voicemail might be kind of redundant since we'll know what the offer sheets are by the time you're back from your vacation. But man, this is fucking annoying. Both of them getting offer sheeted. Fuck you, St. Louis. Truly, truly fuck you. And, like, what irritates me the most, what drives me fucking crazy, is the fact that it was $1 less than the picks. That's just disrespect. Like, fuck, you're gonna offer that. Offer 100,000 less. 100,000. I don't think that's impacting the Oilers' decision all that much. The $1 more or less is just disrespectful, and it irritates me. But in hindsight of this, maybe do we look back and regret giving those contracts to Skinner and Arvidsson? I don't know. But you know what? If I'm the Oilers, I'm offer sheeting both, and I'm finding a way to make it work.
All right, you sound like shit, Nick. You're outside, just like... I don't regret those free agent signings at all. You know what the bigger problem to me is? And I think I said it on the emergency podcast, but I don't remember if I did or not. The Oilers have essentially these offer sheet totals in dead cap space. The Connor Brown bonus, the Corey Perry bonus, the Jack Campbell buyout, the James Neal buyout. All that equals about 6.5. That annoys me way more than signing Jeff Skinner and Victor Arvidsson. Way more. And it's not really close. It's not close at all, in fact. That's where we're going to wrap up the voicemail. A&W is rallying communities to unite for the cause and raise awareness about MS in Canada. On August 22nd, Canadians can show their support and help envision a world without MS by visiting their local A&W restaurants and purchasing a delicious teen burger to directly and positively benefit groundbreaking research and support individuals living with and affected by MS. $2 from every teen burger being donated. Count it down. You've got 9 days until Burgers to Beat MS Day, and I encourage you to do so. Go out there and get it. Can you beat 6.5? What if I just set a general BLTN line at 6.5? Can you beat it? Will you accept the challenge? Will you accept the challenge? 6.5, that's the line. I will be back next week, but for now, you're getting this on a Tuesday because I'm leaving you. I'm leaving you. I'm going on a vacation. Hopefully the Oilers don't make me work again. Right? Right. Good? Good. Have a great week, everybody.
Oh, Captain Felton with your charm. Yes, you are. In your uniform, you're looking so fine and so true. Through the high seas and beyond. I'd follow the stars just to be where you are. Oh, I would sail the 7 seas for love. With you, my captain, under skies above.